All right, Broncos country. We are 8-2, man. Through 10 games, the Broncos have won 80% of their matchups, but it's crazy because Broncos country is kind of in a frenzy, and honestly, I think it's a little bit understandably so. There might be a little bit of overreaction, but there might be a lot of different reactions that are very justified. But welcome to Broncos Debrief, man, where we are going to break down the game, 24 hours later, talk about what we saw, kind of let all the emotions set aside. And so, Jeremy, I'm going to pass it over to you and get your comments. Firstly, how you doing? What did you think about the game? And what's your initial message to Broncos country that are freaking out right now?
Well, two things. One, we always have to remember, like, anytime we play on Thursday night, it is I don't remember a pretty Thursday night game the Broncos have ever played, honestly. Those are always ugly. And a division rival game, I don't care how high in the standings you are and the other teams in the low in the standing, it doesn't matter. Division rival games, it's just division rival games. So that can all be thrown out. And yeah, it was an ugly game. There's no doubt about it. But like, again, I don't personally care if we win 3-2. A win is beautiful every single time. So, you know, I was real worried going into that game actually. And it just felt super a trap game. We have, a huge game coming up next week. And it just was like, if you're going to take your eye off the ball, especially on a short week, this is going to be the game. And there was a lot of miscommunications, a lot of people, a lot of fingerprints on this one, even though we won. But I think there's definitely some overreacting going on. And I was out of town, so I didn't get to watch it live. That's always that
Thank
always
God.
that always throws a wrench into everything too. Like Broncos
Yeah.
never seem to do just amazing on that. So I'll take the loss I'll take the L for that one. But yeah, no, I think it's rosier than a lot of people are saying, I think.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think the overreaction or like, people getting kind of freaking out about it, myself maybe a little bit included in there, is because now we have different expectations, right? So it's a
That's
good
what
thing
it is.
because this is completely different than years past, right? Where it's like we would have, we were happy when we were 500. Um, but now it's like, man, we've got aspirations of not just making the playoffs, but making noise in the playoffs. And let me tell you, that offensive performance was by far, in a way, in my opinion, by far the worst in the Sean Payton era and of Bo Nix's career for sure, like on both of them. I thought Sean didn't do a whole lot to help Bo Nix, but I thought Bo Nix played a very, very poor game. But this offense, man, it's just all the same things keep creeping up. Everybody looks like they're overthinking all of these different penalties. Bo's missing guys that are open. It just seems like he doesn't really know where he wants to go to the football, and it's kind of a mess. And it's like you cannot waste a historic defense. What this defense is doing right now is historic. You just cannot waste it with incompetent quarterback play, especially when you've got a head coach that's a self-proclaimed offensive guru. This is his hand-picked guy, and it's just not really getting better. I mean, that was a really big step back. And I get what you mean. Like Thursday night football games suck. Division opponents suck. I think the Raiders played a lot better on defense than they have for a big part of the season. But and I think this team is just exhausted. I really do. I mean, I felt like when I was watching them, they all looked just defeated. And after the game, they look like they need this break. So this break is going to be really good. The one game in the next 23 days or whatever it is going to be really good because we can't forget the Broncos. I think Tom Pelissero talked about it. They won their 7 games in a row in a span of 39 days or something like that. So they've been playing a lot of football. They've been traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Been a lot going on. So, that all being said, it's got to be way better. And we might be now without arguably our best weapon on offense in J.K. Dobbins. But, I mean, did you go back and kind of rewatch the whole game?
Yeah, I went and
What was your
saw
overall analysis of Bo's play specifically?
good and bad, up and down, kind of like how it's been in as far as a lot of things. Now, I will say, like, people always want to just be like, oh, he was bad. He missed this. But it's like, how many penalties set us back? Every time okay, first of all, Bo Nix to me is a rhythm football player. Just like in basketball, shooters get hot and shooters get cold, and he's a rhythm guy. And Sean, if I always look at like the first pass of the game. Remember last year against Tampa, he hit that first pass of the game, and I was just like, "Oh, it's gonna be a good day," and he just destroyed them. Same with Atlanta, same with a bunch of teams. Like if he comes out and hits that first one, I can kind of know where it's gonna go. I think Sean needs to kind of help him get into like a little bit more of a rhythm. But the penalties, the drops, every time he would make a play, somebody would drop it. It was just like anything where we could finally start to build on something or like kind of get out of the rut, we didn't do it. And it people just want to blame him or blame Sean, but it's the whole offense. Like it's the false starts. It's the like Mercedes Lewis got flagged. Like I mean, 11 penalties is insane anyways. The offensive pass interference on Bryant was like such crap in my opinion, but it's those type of plays where he makes a big play, Bryant does, and then they negate it, and now it's long you have to overcome.
Mhm.
So I just feel like so much blame is getting put on him right now that it's just like it was a collective. And thank goodness the defense is playing up to their, but also like, okay, when the defense plays against the poor offensive line like the Raiders, nobody's all like, yeah, but it's the Raiders offensive line. We just go, yeah, great. Like, yeah, they're doing their thing. But when the Broncos destroy the Cowboys and their defense, then it's like, well, yeah, that's not hard to do because it was the Cowboys. But it's like one gets the benefit of the doubt, the other doesn't. So I was so worried that we're gonna lose that game, and then now we had the chance to be 7-4 if we lost the next one.
Mhm.
At the minimum, going into the bye, we're gonna be 8-3, if not 9-2. So I'm not going to complain. Like there's obviously a lot to clean up. A lot of it is coaching, in my opinion. You can't have those. You can't lead the league in penalties like in week 11 and not have that come back on the coaches. Like, I'm sorry. And it's just mental mistakes. And like you said, I do think they're exhausted. I think they're exhausted mentally, physically, all of the
Yeah.
above. So,
Well, I think it showed yesterday because I feel like when you're tired, man, when you're just kind of beat, that's when you make the mistakes. Listen, Bo was bad. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm really happy that the Soviet Spy brought this up. I just finished watching Tim
I do too.
Jenkins' analysis. I watch it every week. I like to watch it myself on the All 22, and then kind of see like, did I see something the same as him or different, or like how does it all stack up? And I'll say this, like I think right now Bo Nix is feeling like the weight of the world on his shoulders,
Yep.
because this whole just being super rushed and his feet being off and he's just kind of doesn't know where he wants to go um, is very new and it's very strange. Like it's very, very weird. It's completely the opposite of like the entire scouting report of him coming out of college, what we saw a lot during his rookie season. And so it's almost like something's getting to him and he's pressing so much. And along with that, the rest of the offense is pressing too. I mean, there was somebody caught on a hot mic. I thought it was Bo yelling, saying like, "Get
I
the
don't think it
fucking
was.
subs in" or something. But
Yeah.
I think it was somebody.
It's
But
Troutman, maybe.
everybody seems like they're just all over the place. Even on the second Bo interception when it hits Troy Franklin, like him and Pat Bryant are kind of crossing each other. Like there's no way that was meant to be run that way.
Mhm.
Um, but
But there's also no excuse to get hit in the chest and then pop it up for like both of those
yeah,
turnovers, in my opinion, were both on Franklin because Franklin stops running on the first one. If he just continues the run, like you said, it goes back to the mental and the physical like tiredness. He's like quitting on a play and then all of a sudden having to ramp back up, also getting shoved a little bit. And there's that first pick. It's the end of the half. I know they're taking a shot, you could say like you don't need to throw that on second
yeah.
down, but like at the same point, like if he just runs it full, it could be it's probably just an incompletion, if not, whatever.
Yeah, and I feel like it was like maybe they hope that they get like a
The
DPI.
PI.
I mean, I would have
Yeah.
liked to see that maybe more on third down. It was definitely like a screw it. And here's the thing too, like one thing that Bo's done really good at this year is, I mean, what does he have? Like I think 7 picks now or something.
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
like he does a pretty good job of like not turning the ball over,
Mm-hmm.
and he does a really good job of not taking sacks.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I feel like because he never takes sacks and he gets the ball out, it's almost like he just needs to take a extra half breath and trust that it's going to be open because a lot of the times either he's late or he didn't wait long enough to get it. But going back to the coaching, I mean, I thought Sean Payton's play calling, aside from the horrifyingly bad trick play on 3rd and 1 on the 40-yard line when it's 2 down, it's 4 down territory. Aside from that, I thought Sean Payton was calling some stuff that was getting open. I mean, guys were open, but like you said, he needs to realize he needs to get a read on his team. He can't be so stubborn to where he's telling the media, like, if you like to see offenses that don't really have a lot of personnel packages, I'm sorry, you're never going to see that with me. And it's like, dude, we're not telling you to like never do it, but if you're realizing that it's hindering your team, we're 10 weeks into the season now. You've got an off season where you can address all that kind of stuff. You need to do whatever the hell it takes now to get your offense functioning. And if that means less personnel groupings, then you got to do that. Like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. And really, I think we have enough talent on offense to go, one-on-one with guys and counteract the moves that they want to make. So it's definitely twofold. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give up on Bo like Pro 16K says. Absolutely not. But yes, I will say yesterday was the first time since we drafted Bo Nix where the question actually crossed my mind. But again, you saw there was rumors too that like he took a pill or something before the game. I think he might have been sick. I felt like maybe a lot of guys were popping up on the injury report with illnesses, so it could have been that. Plus they were all tired, or whatever. But yeah, he needs just a little bit of a break now.
Mm-hmm.
I always relate everything back to golf. Like last year when I was golfing, no matter what I did, it was the most frustrating thing. Every single time on the tee box, I duck hook it left every time. Does not matter. It was like to the point where I was so angry and I just didn't want to do anything. I wanted nothing to do with the game of golf. I took like 6 months off completely, the whole winter. And when I came back in return, I was like, it was just fixed. I didn't even work on my swing for a second. And I just think he needs that kind of, he needs the debrief, right? He needs to really just kind of take the weight of the world off his shoulders and, relax. And I think a lot of the reason he feels this pressure is because of the shit that Sean Payton's done and what he said. Like, we talked about it a lot. I hated when he was like, Bo can be a top, 4 to 5 quarterback in the next few years. Like, it's cool to hear that, but you're like, dude, let's just take it 1 year at a time. You don't have to say that.
Right.
So it's a lot,
I feel like just the media in general and this national media, local media, everybody, like there were so many people that didn't think Bo is the guy coming in that they're like chomping at the bit to be like, I told you so. And it's like, no, you freaking didn't, dude. We're 8-2. Everybody else, Caleb doesn't look good. Jaden's hurt. McCarthy's been hurt. Penix is all over the place. Like Drake May's finally coming in. Like, they just love to be like, I knew this was my thing. That's just my take. And I was right all along. And it's just like, we need to just chill with that,
Yeah. You like,
I'm cheesing.
We just played golf earlier, man. And this is such a good inside joke. It's just about like the Kendrick Lamar Drake stuff, but we kept saying, why you cheesing, fam? Cause it just became something funny, but yeah, no, I mean, I agree, bro. And people, the media is so quick to talk about like, oh, look at the teams that they've beaten. But they'll conveniently leave out who the Patriots have beaten too, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is too, like, it doesn't have to be a straight competition. It's not like the Broncos chose Bo Nix over Drake May or Bo Nix over Jaden Daniels. Like, they weren't going to be able to get those guys. But I think they ended up ultimately getting somebody that, they wanted in the first place. But it really doesn't matter that like comparing with everybody else. I mean, everyone's trajectory is so different, but a little bit of this regression was definitely something that I feel like is concerning, but I don't think it's unfixable. It just needs to get fixed immediately. It was almost like I kind of feel like, man, if we don't come out against the Chiefs and look at least a little bit competent offensively, I hope we get absolutely demolished because it's like, it might take that for this team to really be like, all right, like, because like when you're winning, but you have a lot to work on, like it's a good thing, but you're never going to fully take it that seriously because you're like, at the end of the day, we're still winning, like we're doing what we can to win games. But
yeah,
when you finally lose, that's sometimes when it's like, okay, we need to revamp. We need to rethink a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it certainly might take that. But.
And there's a couple of things real quick about the Tim Jenkins thing. There was a couple of things I just flat out disagreed with him on. Like the ball's hitting uh, Evan Ingram in the hands after Bo like makes something out of nothing, and he's just like, and he misses him. I was like, I'm sorry, dude. You're like one of the highest paid tight ends. Like you're a professional pass catcher. You should catch the football when it hits both of your hands. I'm sorry, that's not a miss. And then there was one where he was talking about he needs to step up a little more. Like, okay, this guy has had a lot of batted balls. Like, the last thing he's going to do is step into everybody's like, "Oh, he's climbing into pressure. He's doing this, you know. He wants to go into pressure. He's like fading in." So it's like, what have it which way do you want it? Like that's what drives me nuts. It's like the end goal. If he misses the pass, then it's like, "Oh, you messed this up." But then there was one on that screen that ended up being like a pass interference on Franklin because he was blocking already. That screen, their guy jumped that, was 100% waiting for it. Could have taken that to the house if he throws it like a quick screen out. He saw it and doesn't throw it, and kind of like now he's stuck, and then he ends up just fading and throwing it away. But instead of that being like, oh wow, way to recognize that the guy was like about to jump that, it was like, you got to know that's a screen. You can't do that. It's like it wasn't open. So maybe dirted, I guess, like right away. But like,
Yeah.
I just think people are like being so critical of even half good things. And again, there's been so many times in the past where if somebody makes a great play, it's like, oh, it was a good throw. But if somebody drops it, it was like he missed him. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like there was
Well,
just a
and it's tough
lot of
because
those.
you don't know what the play's designed, like who is designed to go to ultimately,
Yeah.
right? And then like, when I went back and watched it, when I first saw there was a completion he had on 3rd and 13, I think, to Sutton for 15 yards. He kind of did like one of his like phantom climbs again, where it's almost like he's gonna run and then he pulls back and throws it like off balance, but it was a good throw, right? And it gets there. And I look at those and I'm like, that would be so hard to critique Bo on because
Yeah.
it
It's not a
worked really
critique.
well and he can throw well like that. But also, there's a lot of times where because he does that, it gets him into trouble. So it's like, where do you find that line? And I feel like Sean talked about that after the
Yeah, he
Texas
did.
game. He's like, you've got to find a line. Like, yes, sometimes you do want him to take off, but also other times you want him to just wait for another split second. And
And it
those aren't
ended up
things
being
those aren't things that get fixed in a season.
that's not like okay, if Patrick Mahomes does it, then it's like, oh well, he's great. That's amazing. Look what he
Yeah.
did. He double clutched 15 times, did 3 spins, and then found somebody. What a genius. He's the best. And then if somebody else does it, then it's like, I mean, that exact same thing that he got critiqued on, he hit the play that to Bryant that set up the touchdown on that huge. We were at the 48 and we got to the 5 on that one because he
Mhm.
climbed and they were so worried about him running that they sucked in, opened up a spot for Bryant, hit Bryant on the run. Bryant takes it all the way to the 5.
And
And then he
yeah,
does the next time he steps up and finds Franklin, puts it on his chest. Franklin actually catches it instead of popping it up. Touchdown. And it's just like, see the difference. Like, you can't critique that. Like, that's part of his game. When you're
I
an
know.
athletic freak.
I just think where it gets tough is like because it's almost like the pocket kind of has to work in his favor in those cases where like he's got a lane to where he could run and kind of do that climb and throw it and run. But if it's a little bit of a muddy pocket, that's when it can get a little like weird for him. But like I get it because there is a lot of there's actually a lot of similarities between like some of the ways that Bo throws off balance as you see with Mahomes for sure.
Mhm.
And I was thinking about that. And I was like, well, I mean, I think Mahomes is at the point now where he's kind of earned the right to be able to do that.
Yeah, but they did
And
that his rookie year. They were like, this guy's a genius.
yeah, yeah,
There was no like, this guy's
yeah,
crap and he can't be doing that. There was none
no,
of that.
100%. And I remember, dude. I mean, people were knocking Mahomes for his mechanics for the first 3 years. I mean, even after he won a Super Bowl, they're like, this guy's mechanics are horrible. And then they got to the point where he's just like, that's just how he plays. And maybe Bo gets to that point. Um, and like I said, I think he can. But I just feel like, man, there's so much going against this offense now. And it's not just like it's always easy to blame the quarterback,
Yeah,
but
that's
when
what it is.
everything is just off, it's like, dude, what are you gonna do? Everybody seems like they're almost looking around at each other like, what the hell's going on? You know?
Mhm.
Um, but we need to have a counter. Like we need to be able to counteract that. Like 4 carries for J.K. Dobbins in the first half is not going to help.
Right.
But you also had two. You had 3 of those all on one drive. It was a 3 now. You had 2 drives that started inside the 5-yard line. I mean, again, a very, very weird game. But yeah, it's just crazy, man. Like I don't know. I never know how to feel. I haven't really felt like this, like down after a win again. But
Yeah, I feel fine.
I feel like I'm kind of falling into it. So this is why I love
Yeah.
getting on videos with you, because you always bring the optimism. So
Well, here's the
so
thing.
you say you're feeling fine. Why is that?
Because it's winning football games in the NFL. Like we are forgetting, we are gotten so spoiled in one season, and we're forgetting the last 10. It's like any wins in the NFL are hard. Winning is hard, especially at this level, especially with the AFC West. Remember when we were in the AFC West and everyone was picking us for the bottom or the third? And it's like we're 8-2 and we're beating like teams. We're on a 7-game winning streak, and they're winning exhausted. They're winning on Thursday night. They're winning when there's a million penalties. They're winning with drop passes. They're winning with interceptions. And I would be with a lot of people if I didn't live through 2015, but I did live through 2015. If that year taught me anything, that taught me like you can win the Super Bowl this way. And I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying we're going to get the Super Bowl. I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is I didn't think winning this way was sustainable. And then I watched that team. And I'm not saying this defense is as good as them, but like when you have a pass rush at the rate that we do, you can be in any sort of game. And if you can win 7 straight games playing pretty not great on offense, and it's NFL, like you beat the world champions, you went to London, you did you came back from like you scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. You did like you won in a million different ways. You won ugly, you won pretty, you beat the crap out of the Bengals, and you beat the crap out of Dallas. Like you figured out 15 different ways to win a football game. It's not the same thing. But 2015 taught me like everybody was saying the same exact thing about Peyton Manning. Like, we're going to have to go to Brock. We're going to have to make these changes. This isn't going to be good enough. When it gets to the playoffs and we're playing the Patriots, that's not going to work. Blah, 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 blah. But like, if the team is together and the team believes in it, like, they just, like I've been saying, you just have to get a little bit better. I think this break is exactly what we need. Sean needs to look at himself as far as like rhythm and play calling. I don't like if it was me, I would have not them snapping and getting into the huddle with 15 seconds left. I would get them out of the huddle with 22 seconds left.
Especially at home.
Yeah. Like give him time to operate, take a breath to it. It's just everything is like to the last second,
Yeah.
make a check to the last second. And I just feel like it's a little sped up. And again, all of our talent positions, except for like 2 or 3 guys, are super young. They've never been in this situation. I'm telling you, like in 2015, we had Emmanuel Sanders, T, Peyton Manning, like CJ, and all these people had played for like multiple years and they weren't looking good up until like they finally started getting together, and they still weren't good and like great in the playoffs, but like they were good enough because our defense was so strong. Like I understand being frustrated. I want to beat the crap out of the Raiders. I want to do all that. Don't get me wrong, but like you figuring out winning is winning and figuring it out. I feel like if we needed a touchdown to win that game, we would have got it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we needed to run the clock out. So that's what we did. But I just feel like it's exactly what you said. Our expectations have gotten to the point that they were like, the sky's the limit. We can win the Super Bowl. But now we're like, oh God, we might lose the Super Bowl if we don't play this well. But it's like, you also have to just take a macro look at where we are. We drafted this guy 1 year ago. Our coach is we've had him for 2 years. Most of the guys on the offense are super young. And like, we're 8-2 and we're in number 1. We have the best record in the NFL. But yet the bettors want to like put us in like 10th best. That's fine. Honestly, I would rather have a bunch of people complaining about the way we are at the bye and being 8-2 than being like, we're amazing going into a bye at 8-2 or even less of a record, because they're going to have to look in the mirror. They're going to have to like buckle down and get their stuff together. And if they don't, I don't think anybody was going into this year, except for Sean Payton, saying we're going to win the Super Bowl this year, or we have the ability to win the Super Bowl. I don't even think that was almost everybody. Even the optimistic people were like, if we can just win a playoff game, I'm happy. And that is not where we're like sitting right now. We're sitting, we better win a playoff game or else I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
So that's tells you a lot, right? So just don't put all the weight of like your whole feeling on this team on a freaking Thursday night football game after the road we just went through. And we navigated it with 7 straight wins. So, I mean, that's amazing. I just don't ever want to take winning for granted in the NFL.
No, for sure. And I think, you know, I think a lot of some of the inconsistencies and bad play on offense, I think a lot of it does have to do with the fact that our defense is so dominant. Like, we kind of have the luxury of like, hey, it's not gonna. We don't have to necessarily keep it as simple. Like, we can take some shots as long as they're not you know, you're not putting the ball in harm's way. It's like it gives you a little bit more, you know, flexibility to do things, because you don't have to just go out there and get it, because it seems like, I know it sounds like the opposite, or almost like counterintuitive, but my point is, any time this offense has needed to have a big drive, even dating back all the way to the Colts game in week 2, they did it. Like, anytime the defense struggled or gave up points, whatever, the offense typically responded. Like, the defense against the Colts was not good. The offense just kept coming back and scoring. The defense against the Chargers early was not very good. The offense brought us back and ended up scoring. And then in the games to come back, it's like whenever it was like, this is a gotta have it, we got it, right? We had a gotta have it drive before the half in Houston. We scored. Gotta have it drive later. Scored. Needed the 2-point conversion. Got it. Needed a field goal. Got it. Like, it's happened every single time. Even against the Raiders, like, you needed to go down there and score, at least tie the game up. You know, a big play to Pat Bryant, touchdown pass, and you're good. Late in the game, they end up they got the ball back with 4 minutes and 36 seconds. I thought each team was going to get 2 possessions.
No.
And the Raiders never got the ball back.
No.
You know, they ran it all out. So it's like, it's really weird because it's so bad for so long, but anytime they've had a gotta have it moment, they've got it done. It's been pretty crazy.
Yeah. And don't like, we needed all 33 points to beat the Giants. It wasn't like the defense shut the Giants out. It wasn't like the defense shut
they
the
scored
Eagles
either.
out.
They didn't score for us, you know?
No, yeah, we haven't been getting turnovers. We finally got a little bit of turnovers now, but finally the special team showed up. That was huge. And look, if I know anything about Bo Nix, it's that nobody's harder on himself, and it's maybe a problem. Nobody's harder on himself than he is. And he's probably sick to himself, like the way they played. If you looked at the video last night, when we had to, after that block punt, and then we had to settle for the field goal, he ran off and Sean was like, "What's up?" And he was just like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I missed the one on the, you know, to Ingram in the corner." Like, he was so pissed off at himself for that. And that's great. That's exactly what you want. You don't want Russ just running back to the thing, ignoring the head coach and just being like, "I'm out."
And that Ingram one, man, his feet were really, really bad. But then when I rewatched it, I think he was really expecting Ingram to just turn around and sit in that zone because it was wide open. He kind of just kept going.
Yep.
And maybe that's what the route called for. But that's where, like, you know, they talk about Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, like they know what each other are thinking. Like, it's just a lack of that. He's kind of missed that with Evan Ingram all year. Like, he really got that, it seems like, with Sutton and you know, a little bit even with Pat Bryant, but they just keep kind of missing each other on those things.
And you would think you'd have it with Franklin because he played at Oregon with Franklin, but I think Franklin is swimming in a lot of ways too. Like, that's just what it looks like to me. Like, and then, you know, certain people won't talk, and it's just, you know, when we had Peyton Manning, it just seemed like we couldn't get out of our own way a lot of times. And it feels like 2015, I'm talking about, not peak Peyton Manning, obviously, but it's just, I just feel like 2015 in this team, it's like Kubiak was an offensive genius type of guy, and you had a bad offense, and the defense was, and you had the old coach who used to be the Broncos coach, is now coaching the defense, bailing you out week after week. We're not bailing you out, but just like I've heard a lot of people being like, "Oh man, Bo Nix sure is lucky, and the Broncos are sure are lucky they have that defense." Well, they drafted all those guys and they developed all those guys. So is it luck that they have it, or is
Yeah.
it because they invested heavily into it, and that's why they're good at that? And then for so people to be like, "Oh, if Drake made this or da 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 da," and it's like, well, you're gonna penalize the guy for like putting a lot of the resources on this team. Look at all the big contracts that you've given to Allen and Sertan and Benito and all these different people. Like that's that should be the best part of your team because that's where you've invested so heavily. So I don't want to hear any like he's lucky to have that. It's like we're also still paying 37 million in dead cap to Russell Wilson. Like we just need to just take a big zoom out and assess exactly where we're at. I mean, I just can't believe people are this unhappy at 8-2. It's wild to me. And I mean, it is because we have these high expectations, but like just we gotta like have a little bit of grace. They're gonna get it together. And now if Dobbins, yeah, this is a great question. Harvey's gonna have to step in and Bidet's gonna have to step up, and we'll probably see McLaughlin now. And they're gonna have to figure out that. And maybe this will help Russ too, or Russ. This will probably, help Bo with like managing, more of that. I just feel like Dobbins was doing so much of. I felt like Sean wants to throw the ball so bad, but Dobbins was clearly the best choice. And it was like the fans were like, just give it to Dobbins more. Give it to Dobbins more. He's getting it. But then it would be like 3rd and 1 and we wouldn't get it. So it's just like, maybe this, I always look at these things as like, maybe there's a blessing in disguise. Maybe you can figure some stuff out. If you can get Dobbins back healthy for the stretch run, that's when you're really going to want him. We've set ourselves up at this point, being 8-2. If we do find a way to beat the Chiefs, we will put the Chiefs at 5-5 and we'll be at 9-2. Like,
Yeah, it's
it's
massive. It's
pretty much a wrap for AFC
Yeah.
West if you can do that.
Well, you still got the Chargers. I mean, I know that they're beat up, but they already have the half game on us, and obviously our record now is better. But yeah, you're right. I mean, to answer the question about can Harvey carry the load, this has been the biggest concern of mine the whole season. I said we are relying way too much on J.K. Dobbins in the run game. Now, here's the ironic part. Like, we're also still not running it enough. Like, for a team that's passing game is not nearly where you want for it to be, we should not be 5th in the NFL in rushing attempts. It just shouldn't be happening unless you're really good at throwing the football, which we haven't been. Do I think that they can? I think there's going to be a really big drop off, but maybe we can, get a little bit creative. Maybe now they use Bo in the run game a little bit more, and they tell him to run a little bit. And to your point, I think that helps him a lot because that gets you going. All right, cool. First down, next play, let's go. So we're gonna have to see, man. It's gonna be a hell of a challenge. And I hope that his foot injury is not as bad as I think it is, because I'm not gonna lie to you. If it's a foot injury, anything similar to like what I've seen with other players, I don't think J.K. Dobbins is gonna come back during the regular season. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how these things go. Like every single week they were saying, "Oh yeah, this is the week Bucky Irving's gonna come back." He doesn't. Like I remember, it's like sometimes they just don't heal. And then that Sobius Spy says, "Please not Bidet." Listen, I get that Bidet gets a lot of flack, but I'll tell you, as a pure running back, he's better than RJ Harvey right now. And I think what's really hurting him is like he comes in for 3 plays a game.
Right.
The ball is going to go to him. And so it puts a lot of pressure that he's got to go out there and make plays. But I've seen enough from Bidet to where I'm like, at least from a runner, he can be, halfway decent. But don't get it twisted. I really want to see RJ Harvey be a really solid running back too. So we're going to see. I think if the Broncos make any moves at running back, whether signing a guy to the practice squad or bringing him if they elevate Jaleel to the 53, that would tell you a lot about the J.K. Dobbins injury, that in and of itself. So something that I think is really, really, really important there. The patient 1991 says, "Dude, I'm a huge believer, like a huge fan of him. He was so disappointing yesterday. The rest of the offense didn't help either." Yeah, I mean, it's listen. If your quarterback is not playing well, it's rare that like the rest of the offense is doing really well, but he's not. You know. But I'm
Yeah.
right there with you. I know Jeremy's right there with you too. Like
Mm-hmm.
big believer in Bo Nix, no doubt about it. But yeah, yesterday was really deflating for me, and I'm happy that you don't feel the same.
It's just, you know what? Because I've seen too many Thursday night football games, especially like division. Those are always the ugliest games for us. The division rival Thursday night football games are the worst because it's like we didn't practice all week. We had been banged up. Like, and it's also a trap game. It was like the ultimate, it was like the perfect storm of just this is gonna not be good. You know what I mean? In people's heads, they go, "Oh, well, they got a bad record and we got a good record, so we should just come in and beat them." It's like that's not how the world works. Like they want to ruin our day. Like they're
Yeah,
motivated to beat us. Like they're our arch rival for the last whatever 40
for
years,
sure.
and they're hearing all this stuff, and then we're not going to be on the best footing because it's like we're exhausted. We're like coming, there's just so many things, and we didn't practice, didn't do all that stuff. There's Sean's like with the personnel stuff. It's like it's such a hard it's just a hard game. I always hate these games. I know they're going to be ugly. I'm always every year I would take the Friday afterwards off and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to really sit back and enjoy this." And then every single time I'm like, "That was a waste. I'm not going to enjoy rewatching this. I'm just
Yeah,
going to forget this game ever happened even if we win
yeah,
because it's the Thursday night game." But
yeah.
I don't know.
And even Thursday night games like the Bengals and Steelers, that was like a high scoring affair, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't get it twisted. That was one of the worst defensive performances I've ever
Yeah,
seen on both sides.
exactly.
Like, I couldn't believe that the Steelers just continued with the same coverage on these guys. And so, yeah, I mean, Thursday night games are always ugly. I mean, let's not forget the Colts and Broncos Thursday night game. That was a wonderful one. Was it 9-6 we lost?
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I don't know. We used to just be like so happy we won. I mean, it just goes to show you like where we're at as like a fan base because we're no longer in the we're just happy we win era. We're now we expect to win and it
Yep.
better look somewhat good. That's
And it
the
better look
part
decent.
we're in now because
Yep.
just winning isn't good enough, which is a good thing, but also it's a bad thing because it's like take it easy a little bit. Um, but no one, and I mean unless you are like 100% just like bleed orange and blue and just like kind of delusional, no one would have been like, I think we're going to be 8-2 and we're going to go on a 7-game win streak after starting 1-2. Like that just wasn't, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, but I think Kodiak made a really good point because he hopped on the post game. Yes, I just had to rant and I sent him the thing and he hops on, but he made a really good point.
mhm,
He said, if somebody were to tell you before the season started that the Broncos were going to be into, obviously you'd be happy, right?
yep.
But wouldn't you think that like, damn, like Bo Nix is probably going to have a really big like MVP caliber season. This offense is going to look really, really good. Like you would expect that it would look a lot different than it does now.
Well, again, we only characterize like pretty and ugly from an offense. We can't ever just be like, that was a beautiful game because the defense destroyed them. Like we never do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A defensive struggle or a slug out or whatever that is, those are ugly games. But like a high scoring 48-47 game, that was an exciting, beautiful game. And it's like, no, that's not football is three phases. And we got 6 sacks. They are limping off the field. They look defeated walking off. To me, that's beautiful. Like that's our rival. And again, we're 8-2 and haven't played nearly our best ball. Now I get the fact that there was places where it was like, here's where we have opportunities to put them away and just like run away with it. And we didn't do that. And that nobody's more frustrated than I am when I see that kind of thing. Cause it's like, it's right there. Just do it. Stop getting in your own way. That's the thing. I'm just sick of like everybody's just blaming either Bo or Sean. But to me, it's like everybody has to do with that. The
Mhm.
penalties have to stop. The drops, my God, the drops. Like those are the things that I always loved about Peyton Manning, because if there was a drop, you might not get another ball for a while, and he's going to give you a look like I'm like that. You're off my list for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we need maybe a little more of that, because I just feel like winning has almost become too easy, or they're just more so used to winning
Mm-hmm.
that it's not like they have in the back of their mind, like, when we need to turn it on, we'll turn it on, and we're going to win at the end. I know we're not playing our best. And it's like, that's the part we need to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mentality thing. We have all the talent to do it, to achieve any goal we want. Right. So that's the thing that we're all frustrated by, is like, if you have the ability to do it, just do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
God doesn't give you everything. So
No, for
there's,
sure. And again, man, like, you make a good point. Like, people don't realize that those penalties that are brutal, that kill drives, like, it sways the entirety of the game. You
yep.
don't get those penalties and the Broncos go down and they score. Okay, now at worst the score is 17-7.
Yep.
It looks a little bit better. The offense has, 60, 70 more yards. Maybe the rest of the game they start to get more confident. Maybe they even score more. And let's say it's a 20-7 win. You're like, cool. Like, you're not panicking like you
Yeah.
do when you score only 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, a lot of that will definitely like shape the perspective. And I think there's a little bit too much panic, because I really believe that the offensive performance against Houston was pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I always felt like the game was actually solid. They made like a lot of really good big time plays. It obviously is not nearly perfect, but it was competent against a very, very good defense. Everyone wants to talk about the CJ Stroud, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, yeah,
What do you
but
want
I'm
us to
talking
do, man?
about the offense versus their defense. And I felt like they played very well, especially coming off of the thrubbing of the Cowboys. Yeah, they only scored 18 points, but that's more than what Houston allows. They kind of topped them in all of it. So um, it's not like they came off of a really bad offensive performance against Houston and then had another terrible performance against the Raiders. I thought they had obviously a great offensive performance against the Cowboys. I thought they were really solid against Houston, and then I thought this game was like awfully terrible. And you make a good point, man. They're exhausted. They've played a lot of football, 7 wins in 39 days, coming off a short week, a bunch of different time zones and traveling and all that. So maybe we can give them some grace. And this is why I
Yeah.
love to do these kinds of post game reactions, because it helps give a completely different perspective, and then you start to talk it out, and you're like, this all makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I'll just end it with like this, is like, if you want to have like a good perspective on this team, look at the teams that after we beat them, I think they've lost. Whoever we've just beat, they lose the next game. I think, I don't even know, make all 7 of these games in a row, or I guess the Raiders haven't played again yet, but that shows you like we figure things out, and then that almost is like a demoralizing thing. This isn't like, people will look back at the Giants and be like, they're not that good, but they were at the time. They were, before they were injured, they were hot. The Eagles had not lost in forever. Like, it's just, everybody always, to me, it's like Bo Nix and this team is like the perfect mirror. And if you look at the mirror and you see it as we're 8-2, there are a lot of things to be excited about. Obviously, some things we need to clean up, but like, I'm so excited that we're like where we're at. I didn't expect this. I'm positive. Or you're looking at it like, oh, we're not gonna do this. This isn't sustainable. Da, 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 da. And it's just yourself, because they're themselves. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it just goes to show, like, if you watch like Aqib Talib, he's all in, and then you watch somebody else and they're like they're trash or whatever. So it's just like, it's the same football team, but I don't know. Just a little perspective. Nobody expected us to be where we're at. And in some sense, we're above. In some sense, we're exactly. In some sense, we might be a little bit behind. And you're just not going to convince me to be upset at 8-2. If we come out and just lay an egg and just look horrible against the Chiefs, then I'll be like, that's weird. But with this mini bye and all this kind of like knowing this is a big game, I want us to like come in and have let's put these guys away. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think we're going to have a good plan to do it. I think, like you said, we needed this break and it's hitting at the right time. I just maybe, Broncos country needs a break too. It's been
Yeah,
a lot.
no, 100%. I think we're all exhausted because it's been an exhausting season.
Yep.
But yeah, no doubt about it. But anyways, brother, I appreciate you you joining, everybody in the chat. You guys have all been dope. We're gonna
Yes. Thank
wrap it
you.
up. But let's all take a break. Let's all enjoy this weekend, and yeah, we'll just watch other teams play, man, and get ready for next week because next week is gonna be one of it's gonna be the funnest game up to date, no doubt about it. The one I'm looking forward to the most
I hope
up to
so.
this point of the season. So we'll see how it ends up going. But
Yep.
Jeremy, appreciate it,
Exactly.
man. Everybody in the chat, you guys are dope. Go Broncos, baby.
Yep.
Peace
Thank
out.
you guys. Go Broncos.